Lecture 1, Introduction to Political Economy. Welcome to this course on the foundation of political economy. Political economy is one of the most fascinating fields of study because it looks at the interplay between politics and economics. Unlike pure economics, which might study prices, production, and consumption in isolation, political economy asks bigger questions. Who controls resources in society? How do governments, policies, and institutions shape economic life? How do economic changes influence political power and decisions? The central idea is that politics and economics cannot be separated. Every economic system, whether capitalist, socialist, or mixed, exists within a political framework, and every political system, democracy, monarchy, dictatorship, operates within an economic foundation. Lecture 2, The Holistic Nature of Political Economy. When we say political economy is holistic, we mean it looks at society as an interconnected whole. Consider an example. If a government decides to increase fuel subsidies, this is not just an economic decision. It also has political consequences. Citizens may support or oppose the policy, parties may use it to campaign, and it might affect the government's popularity. Similarly, if unemployment rises, the effects are not limited to the economy. Unemployment can lead to social unrest, protest, or even shifts in government policy. Thus, political economy helps us see society in interdependent layers, the economy influencing politics, politics influencing the economy, and both shaping culture and society. Lecture 3, Early Foundations of Political Economy. Political economy as a field emerged in the 18th and 19th centuries when scholars began analyzing how wealth is produced, distributed, and used in society. Unlike modern economics, which became more mathematical and specialized, early political economy was concerned with broad social questions. Thinkers like Adam Smith, David Ricardo, and later Karl Marx asked, what creates wealth in society? Who benefits from production? What role should the state play in regulating the economy? These questions remain relevant today, even if the context has changed. Lecture 4, Adam Smith and the Liberal Tradition. Adam Smith, often called the father of modern economics, wrote The Wealth of Nations in 1776. He laid the foundation for what is known as the classical liberal tradition. Smith believed that human beings are naturally inclined to trade, exchange, and improve their condition. He introduced the idea of the invisible hand, the notion that when individuals pursue their self-interest in a free market, society as a whole benefits. Key ideas from Smith include: division of labor increases productivity. Free markets allocate resources efficiently. Limited government intervention is best, except in areas like defense, justice, and infrastructure. Smith's ideas formed the foundation of capitalism. He believed that prosperity grows when individuals have freedom to innovate, compete, and trade. Lecture 5, Karl Marx and the Radical Tradition. Karl Marx, writing in the 19th century, took a radically different view. For Marx, political economy was not neutral, it was a way of understanding class struggle. Marx argued that capitalism is based on exploitation, workers sell their labor, but the value they create is taken as profit by capitalists. He believed this system would inevitably produce inequality, crisis, and eventually collapse. Key ideas from Marx include: historical materialism, the idea that history is driven by changes in material conditions, especially economic production. Class struggle, society is divided into classes with conflicting interests, the bourgeoisie, owners, and the proletariat, workers. Surplus value, the difference between the value workers produce and what they are paid. Inevitability of socialism, Marx predicted that capitalism would be replaced by socialism and eventually communism. Marx represents the radical tradition in political economy, emphasizing structural inequality and power relations. Lecture 6, Comparing Smith and Marx. Smith and Marx are often seen as opposites, but studying them together helps us understand the spectrum of political economy. Smith emphasizes freedom, markets, and individual choice. Marx emphasizes inequality, exploitation, and systemic change. Both thinkers recognize that economics is deeply tied to politics. The difference lies in whether markets are seen as natural and beneficial, or as exploitative and unstable. Even today, debates about economic policy, from taxation to privatization, often echo Smith and Marx's traditions. Lecture 7: Relevance of Classical Traditions Today. Why study Smith and Marx in the 21st century? Because their questions remain alive. Should governments regulate markets or let them operate freely? How do we address inequality? Can capitalism solve global challenges such as poverty and climate change, or does it create them? By understanding Smith and Marx, we gain tools to interpret contemporary debates in political economy. Lecture 8: Summary of Module 1. In this first module, we have defined political economy as the interplay of politics and economics. Explained its holistic nature, looking at society as an interconnected whole. Introduced the major traditions, Adam Smith's liberalism and Karl Marx's radical critique. Compared their views and shown why they remain relevant today. With this foundation, we are now ready to move into Module 2, where we apply political economy to contemporary issues such as the state, development, and underdevelopment.